name is Ilakshi. Most of you have seen me before. For the ones who are joining us for the first time, hi. I hope you guys are doing well. J'espère que vous allez tous bien. Today, we're going to be doing a very exciting session on adjective qualificatif. But before I start talking as usual, on va faire une petite activité. We're going to do a small activity of word wall. I'm going to quickly send out the link on the chat. Everyone, just please try to attempt this and you know the drill. Once you do it, you got to show me, give me thumbs up. Give me all thumbs up so I know it's done and we'll check out your responses hopefully, okay? Let's see before starting the session where we are, what we know. And guys, this is just self-evaluation, so it doesn't matter what you score. The point is that after today's session, the score should definitely go up. Okay, so think of it as just a self-evaluation. Everyone, tout le monde, s'il vous plaît, cliquez sur le lien. Please click on the link and please begin the word wall activity whilst everyone else is joining in. And for everybody else, les autres who are just joining in, please turn on your cameras. Thank you. And it's perfectly fine. If you're not at home, you're going out, you've stepped out, you're anywhere, just turn it on. That's perfectly fine. Okay, guys, I hope it's not very difficult. Let's all do it. Let's see what the score comes out. Give me a thumbs up when you're done. For everybody else who's just joined us in this session, welcome, bienvenue. There's a link on the chat for everyone. Please, before we begin today's session, I want everyone to please attempt this word wall activity. I'm reposting the link for those who've just joined in. Please, please, please click on the link et commencez avec les activités, s'il vous plaît. Come on. I'm pretty excited to see how everyone scores.
Ilakshi, I want to just take a quick moment to share my screen, if I may.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Sure. Just bear with me. I want to show that.
Thank you, Nana. Okay, perfect. We have 8 students who've responded so far.
So far, yeah.
Very nice. Superb.
Yeah, this is like the quickest. 7 correct and 1 incorrect, and I think it's Lien. And she scored. She did it as like 150 seconds. 150 seconds.
That's superb, Lien.
Very quick.
Great.
Yeah.
Lovely. It looks like a great turnout. I still see the students are still submitting the responses.
Yeah.
So they're still flowing in. They're still coming in.
Yeah. Lien, Shelly, Gayatri, and then you also have this chart here.
Wow, looks lovely, guys. We have Jitendra, Bhavika, Priya, everyone's been submitting their responses.
Yes.
Not bad, guys. Very well done. Good job. Perfect. Thank you
I'll leave
being
you.
so prompt, guys.
Thank you, Ilakshi. Over to you.
Thank you, Ankita. Lovely, guys. Superb. Now, the reason why we did this is to see, doesn't matter how much we scored. We scored a full, we got 5 incorrect, 2 incorrect, 1 incorrect, or 10 incorrect. The whole point is that after today's session, our aim is to get all of them correct. Okay? So let's dive quickly into the session today. We're going to be doing, once again, we're going to be doing adjective qualificatif And that's our highlight for the day. Je vais partager mon écran. I'm going to scan my screen with you guys. I believe everyone can see it. Yes, no, maybe, peut-être. Ok, super.
Yes.
Merci. Merci pour confirmer. Alors, on va commencer maintenant. Now, since you guys can clearly see that we're doing the first part of adjective qualificative is because we decided to split this very, very important topic into two parts. Partie 1 et partie 2. Today, we're going to be focusing on part 1 because it's a very diverse topic. It requires a lot of navigation and detail. So we figured, let's do the first part today, split it into two so that we can get better outcomes. Now, anybody, I'm sure that most of you would know at whichever level you are, the word adjective qualificative. These are all the adjectives around that will help you improve your writing. And it'll really help you aim and score better, which is a CLB7 ideally for all of us in our TEF and TCF examination. Now, whenever we want to express our emotions, nos émotions, détails, we want to give like this personal touch, more information, more detail, and all of that is possible thanks to adjective qualificative. All right, imagine if I say that I grew up in this city. It's a very normal sentence. But if I say I grew up in this beautiful, warm city, just putting in two qualificative adjectives like beautiful and warm just increases the level of the existing sentence. And that's what we need to do. What will set you guys apart in your expression orale and expression écrite would be how you transform simple sentences, simple ideas, creative ideas in better vocabulary. So, our aim in the examination is to make sure to do and to give the examiner what he or she is looking for, which is, premièrement, clear ideas. Okay, that we present our ideas without any complexity, simple, clear, concise. Okay, we try to add rich vocabulary. That means we're using very diverse and rich descriptives in our communication, which is expression orale, our speaking, and expression écrite, our writing. We try to give it a personal expression, which means some personal, unique perspective to our writing. Okay, and obviously goes without saying, everything just boils down to getting the perfect, accurate grammar. In perfect, accurate, coherent sentences, not dancing around, not going around the bush, but sticking to the content, relevancy, creativity, and simplicity at its best. Okay, and that's exactly what adjective qualificative do for us. Okay, so think of it as an emotional vocabulary, something that will help you express better, emote better, give better details. So at CLB7, it's not just about what you're trying to say, it's about how you say it. All right. So I love the city, that's very basic, but I love the city for its dynamic, colorful, and friendly vibe. That's a CLB7. And that's the jump between a CLB6 or a CLB5 to a CLB7 plus. All right. Now, you have two sentences in front of you. Everybody on the chat will just put one or two for me, okay? Which option do you prefer personally if you guys were examiners, okay? Le premier, je préfère les vacances à la campagne, il y a des arbres, c'est calme. That's option number one. La deuxième option, je préfère les vacances dans une région tranquille, loin du bruit stressant de la ville, l'ambiance y est reposante, les paysages sont magnifiques. You tell me, one or two, which one would you prefer if you guys were examiners? Quickly give me a poll, one or two. Okay, Madhu, Biswajit, Gayatri is saying two, Nana saying two, Venia two. Perfect. Perfect. As examiners, this is exactly what we look for as well. We know that I can just communicate, hey, that's my phone. Anybody at an A2 or a B1 level can do that. But how do you as a B2 level student do that? When you describe this better. All right. And that's what sets you apart. That's what sets your writing apart. That's what sets your spoken apart. Okay, so the same ideas, but more depth, more connection, and a personal style to it. And while we all can frame basic sentences, communicate in basic phrases, simple vocab, let's understand today how we can make that better, how we can enrich that. Okay, so lots of information in the beginning. Let's dive into it. What is adjective qualificative? So it is basically when we use it to describe a person, an object, place, feeling, or an idea. That means all descriptives. Okay? Par exemple, Marie est gentil. So gentil is my adjective qualificative. It is qualifying my noun. Il a une voiture. That's a simple sentence. But when I add a little bit more information to it, il a une voiture rouge, the color rouge in itself is an adjective. So it's qualifying my noun. Ce livre est intéressant. This book is interesting. Now, the word interesting, as simple as this, is my adjective qualificative. Okay? Now, how can we describe a noun? Okay, let's see how can we do that. What are the possible ways? How do we do that? Alors, la première chose, the size, which is la taille. Is it small? Is it big? What is the size like? So, for example, c'est un petit chien. Now, chien is my noun. And how is the chien? Petit. C'est une maison. Mais c'est une grande maison. C'est un chemin. Chemin means a road, a path. Okay? C'est un chemin. Normal sentence. But c'est un long chemin. C'est une robe courte. It's a dress. It's a short dress. So the word as simple as courte is giving you a little bit more description. Un sac énorme. An enormous bag. The words that you guys see as basic as petit, grande, long, courte, énorme, these are describing even in these smaller sentences. But pay attention, guys. Adjective qualificative, qualifying any noun, the choice, the spelling has to be according to the noun, which means the number and the gender. And we'll come to that a little bit more in detail. But what I'm trying to convey right now, when you're looking at the words, see how the words are made feminine and masculine. Keep an eye out for it, be vigilant, and we'll do it in more detail. Okay? Alors, la première, c'était la taille, the size, that you can use to describe something small, big, long, short, enormous. The deuxième chose, the color. As you saw clearly here as well, il a une voiture rouge. So I've just simply used the color to describe the car. I've not used any size element, but color is as simple as using any of it to describe. So for example, une robe rouge, which is a red dress. Un pull bleu clair. Now what is clair? Now we don't have, now you know how in English we have dark gray, dark blue, light blue. So the word clair, whenever you add after the color of your liking, it becomes light. So bleu clair is light blue. Vert clair is light green. Gris clair is light gray. And the opposite for it, if you want to say dark blue, dark gray, dark red, that would be foncé. Foncé. Okay? It was just for your information, guys. All right. Une chemise noire. Des yeux verts. Again, I'm not saying verts. Guys, understand? We never pronounce dipstick's rule. Don't pronounce the last consonant. Un chapeau jaune. The word vif means bright. Okay? So we've simply used colors in their masculine, feminine, singular, or plural forms to describe simple things such as une robe, un pull, une chemise, des yeux, and a chapeau. Instead of simply saying I have a pen, but saying j'ai un stylo noir, I have a black pen. Simply instead of saying je porte une chemise, instead of that saying je porte une chemise rouge et noire, gives it that difference that the examiners are looking for. All right. So that's your step forward. Now, once again, we have the size as a description that we can do and color as an option. The third is la qualité, the quality. Is it good quality, bad? Now let's see how we talk about it. C'est un bon repas, it's a good meal. Une mauvaise idée, bad idea. C'est une mauvaise idée, c'est terrible. These are all descriptions, and I don't know if you notice it, whenever you use it when you're speaking also, you sound very, very convincing. You bring about an emotion, you bring it forward, and you sound very convincing. It's like doing role play. Just imagine you're doing a role play in your TCF or TEF speaking examination and add these words and vocabulary to emote well. You have 15 minutes to show off your speaking skills, guys. Put everything that you possibly can to showcase it with a little bit of conviction, voice, intonation. Put all of that together and you'll nail it. Okay? Un travail parfait. Perfect job. Une solution utile. A useful solution. A film ennuyeux. Ennuyeux is boring. So a film ennuyeux. How was the film? Yeah, it was okay. But I still don't know how it was. Instead, you describing it better. Le film, il était ennuyeux malheureusement. Unfortunately, it was boring. Mais les séries que j'ai vues, the series that I watched, c'était excellent. It was excellent. Now that's how when you add simple qualitative terms to express the qualité, you're able to express how you feel about it better. Next is the shape. Is it round? Is it square? So some basic shape related terms. Un miroir, rond. As the word suggests, it's round. So a round mirror. Une table, carré. Carré, square. Un sac ovale. Evidently, very similar to your English term oval. Un sac ovale. Un visage ovale. Une boîte. Une boîte is a box. So une boîte rectangulaire. Rectangulaire. Whenever there's a bigger word, guys, I've been saying this in my previous sessions as well. The easiest way is to break it. Break it into multiple syllables, at least 2 to 3, to get the pronunciation right before you try to get the speed. Okay? So une boîte rectangulaire. If you can't get that fast, go slow. Une boîte rectangulaire. Efficiency is more important than speed. Always. And this is a tip for your examination also, guys. As examiners, we wouldn't mark you or give you higher points if you speak faster. Because understand, if you speak very fast, time, you'll run out of ideas to express if you go too fast. Second, the chances of you making the errors, whether grammatical, whether pronunciation, would be higher. So pace out. Speak at a certain speed, be clear, be effective, be efficient rather than being fast. Always. Efficiency over speed, guys. Keep that in mind. Even if you're towards TCF, those who are prepping for TCF, for example, when you have your monologue in the end, which is a 4.5 minute monologue that you do in the speaking examination. Imagine if you keep speaking too fast, not only you will increase the chances of making errors, fumbling, missing articles, getting some pronunciation wrong, but also you'll end up finishing your content so fast and you'll still have time to go. And we cannot keep quiet. The recording keeps on going. We cannot have a silent moment. Hence, from the beginning itself, peace, ease out, pace out, speak correctly, effectively, and concisely. Okay? So, to do that, initially, when you're doing vocabulary and you find bigger words, break them down. Alors, un ballon plat, a flat ball. Next, to talk about personality, which is personality traits. This person is kind, intelligent, simple, sympathetic, lazy. All these terms describe someone's personality, correct? So, This person is gentil ou intelligent. Some examples. Un garçon gentil, a kind boy. Une fille polie, a polite girl. Un homme intelligent, an intelligent man. Une femme ambitieuse, an ambitious woman. Un étudiant paresseux, a lazy student. Une collègue sociable, a very social colleague. Sociable. So terms like gentil, poli, intelligent, ambitious, paresseux, sociable. Some very good terms to incorporate in your writing as well as speaking to get and attain a B2 level. Okay? All right. You may have, however, noticed, I'm sorry to scroll back up. You may have noticed, guys, please have a clear look at it. In some cases, your adjectives come before your noun, and in some they come after. Just take a good glance at the screen. I say a chapeau jaune. Jaune is my adjective, which is my color. It's coming later, which is cool, all right. But a bon repas. Why is bon coming before my noun repas if everywhere else it's coming after? I say un petit chien, une grande maison, un long chemin. Everywhere. I have my adjective before my noun. But why un sac énorme instead? And why une robe rouge? Why is the color coming later? The placement of these adjectives while you're making sentences or speaking is supremely important. C'est absolument important. You have to know, you have to obviously know which adjective to place. That's important. But its placement is equally important. It's as good as you not putting the adjective if you put it in the wrong place. Because then it gets counted as an error, as a grammatical error, which is a big deal. So let's try to unravel this mystery. What is the position of the adjectives? Why some come before, which ones will come after? What's this whole shebang about? Okay? On va le comprendre maintenant. Now, most adjectives, most of them, guys, they come after your noun. Okay, un film amusant, une maison moderne. You'll notice it while you're doing comprehension écrites and orales also. Usually they come after, but there's some which will come before. And how do we know which ones are they? We try to use a small trick, and that trick is what I want to share with you guys today, of course. That trick is called using the acronym BAGS. Okay, so all your adjectives which represent beauty, which is beauté, âge, beauté, âge, which is age, la taille, which is the size, and goodness. I'll show you some examples. These will come before. So once again, the BAGS rule. Beauty, age, goodness, and size. These adjectives will come before and the rest of them will come after. Okay? If that's sinking in, let's see. When I look at the BAGS rule, the adjectives which will come before in terms of beauté, for example, beau, joli, laide, belle, these adjectives are defining beauty. Now they will always come before. For example, un beau jardin. Okay? On the other hand, anything describing age. Now when I say age, it means old, young, new. So jeune, vieil, nouveau. These are defining age. Now these will also come before my noun. So for example, un vieil monsieur, an old man. I will not say un monsieur vieil. That's incorrect. Un vieil monsieur. Okay? Followed by goodness. So that's your bon and mauvaise. Bon, mauvaise. Now, masculine, bon and mauvais. Feminine, bon and mauvaise. So something describing your goodness would also come before. Anything describing the size. La taille spécifiquement, like petit, grand, gros. These will also come before. Par exemple, une petite maison, une jolie fille. Now, your jolie fille, pardon, it's for your beauté, and petit chien. Make sense? Everybody, if everybody has understood the rule of bags, everybody please give me a thumbs up on the chat. Our bag's rule is beauté, age, beauty, age, goodness, and size. All of these will come before my noun, and rest all your adjectives, guys, no matter which ones, will come later. Okay? Is the placement rule clear? Is the trick clear? Okay? Now, every time that you do writing or speaking, keep this rule in mind. You will never get confused of where to place it. Okay? Super. Thank you, guys. I love a sense of validation on the chat. Thank you so much. And for those who I cannot see in front of me but are participating, thank you so much as well. That's also a good start. Okay, perfect. On continue. Voila. Like you have seen, and I just slightly also mentioned that when we choose adjectives, the first step is to put an adjective. The third step, okay, where do I place it? But the next is to understand whether it's masculine or feminine. And then accord, the word accord means according to the number in gender. That means if it's singular, plural, gender, masculine or feminine. We got to transform our adjective accordingly. Okay? And there are some rules to do that. These rules, honestly, throughout the language are very, very important because they're used in multiple places. But most importantly, le plus important, c'est avec les adjectifs qualificatifs. D'accord? We're going to do these rules one by one and we'll unravel a few very important rules today. Okay? Alors, the first rule. The first rule is to add an E for feminine, and this is something I guess all of us know since the very beginning. Hey, I want to make this feminine, it's ending with a consonant, let me just add an E. And that's true. All your masculine adjectives which do not end with an E, which means that they end with another consonant. To make that feminine, you just simply add E in the end. Does that work? So we simply add an E in the end. Anyone out of the lot who would like to volunteer and help us understand this table? Anyone who wants to unmute themselves? If yes, you guys can simply unmute yourself from the lot. Even if your cameras are turned off, anybody from the other lot wants to do it, can just unmute themselves and can begin with the table. Let me increase the size of my screen because I can't see everyone. Okay. Do we have anybody in the chat? Guys, anybody who wants to read a few of them? Okay, perfect. You can unmute yourself and let's start. Thank you so much for volunteering.
Yeah, so start from the first row, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Grand, grande.
Perfect.
Petit, petite.
Superb.
Méchant,
Hmm.
méchante.
Perfect. Super.
Timide, timide.
Very good. Very well done.
Jolie, jolie.
Lovely.
And bleu, bleu.
Very good. Superb. Very nice. Thank you so much. Love the pronunciation. It was bang on, and you kept all the pronunciation rules also in mind. So that was great. Very good. Thank you so much. That was very helpful. You were great. Thank you. Just the way Anshuman did, if you notice the words which do not end with a vowel, which is an E, you do not pronounce the last consonant any which way. Correct? So instead of saying grand, this was grand. Because it was masculine, to make it feminine, you add another E in the end and becomes grand. And that's when you emphasize on the last syllable. So the. Similarly, very rightly you got that also, Anshuman. It was, you said petit. And following which, for feminine, you said petite. And then you emphasized on the t in the end. That's exactly how it's supposed to be done. So keep that rule in mind, guys. Number one, if it's not ending with any vowel, it's ending with a usual consonant, you just simply add an E and make it feminine. So for example, if I say, pardon, I don't, okay. Grand, okay, un grand appartement. This is a big apartment. And I'm using the term grand. Why? Because apartment is masculine. However, une grande maison. Why grand and why the emphasis on the de a little bit? It's because maison is feminine. So simply you change it to E. Similarly, if you had to change it to plural and it was des grands appartements, then you simply add another S in the end of your masculine noun. And similarly, des grandes, pronunciation does not change, maison. And why we're not pronouncing the S's in the end, and that circles back and goes back to our dipsticks rule. Okay, that whenever you have DPSTX, you do not pronounce it at all, and the other consonants are very subtle as well. Okay, perfect. Rule number one, done. Let's read some sentences. Anybody from our beautiful lot of students today who wants to read the sentences for us and help the rest of us navigate through? Anybody who wants to begin with reading just the first two sentences maybe to kickstart them? Okay, we have two. Okay, Divyang and then Harsha, we take it forward with you. Perfect. Thanks, guys. Okay, Divyang, we start with you, and Harsha, you're next.
Mon frère est grand.
Very good, mon frère est grand. Perfect.
Ma sœur est grande.
Ma sœur est grande.
Est grande. Okay.
Perfect. And how have we changed the word grand to feminine?
Just add E.
Perfect. Just added an E in the end. And lovely, the way that you pronounced grand and differentiated with grande, that was perfect. Superb. Can you try the next one as well for us, please?
Il a un petit chien.
Very nice. Il a un petit chien, which means?
I have a small dog. Oh, sorry. He has a small dog.
Super. Perfect.
Yeah.
And what about the next one?
Elle a une petite valise.
Valise. Perfect. Valise
Yeah.
is a suitcase.
Suitcase, yeah.
So what
she
does
has a small suitcase.
Perfect. Bang on. Superb. Merci beaucoup. That was perfectly fine. Pronunciation as well as the translations. Superb. You guys can clearly see how the spellings are going to change even if you're using the same adjective to accord with the noun that is describing. Because the word chien is masculine singulier, on va utiliser petit or in its form of masculine singular. Valise, on the other hand, is feminine singular. So, petite as an adjective that we're going to use is also going to be feminine singular with an E. C'est clair? Lovely. I think there was one more student who...
Harsha.
Harsha. Perfect.
C'est un garçon méchant.
C'est un garçon. We'll just
C'est un, yeah, c'est un garçon méchant.
Perfect. C'est un garçon méchant, which means? Méchant.
He is. This is or he is.
This is.
This is a boy.
And méchant means naughty.
Naughty, a naughty boy.
This is a naughty boy. Perfect. And if it was a girl, how would you transform it?
C'est une fille méchante.
Perfect. C'est une fille méchante. Perfect. Super. Do you want to try the last one as well?
Yes. Mon cousin est timide.
Super. Mon cousin est timide. And that would mean?
My cousin is timide as I don't know.
Timid is shy. Actually, timid is a similar word in English as well. It means timid. Somebody who's shy. Somebody doesn't speak and somebody who's very petit. That's mon cousin est timide. Very shy.
Marie est timide. Ma gentille.
Mais gentil.
Mais gentil.
Perfect. Mais means but, gentil, kind.
Gentil.
Perfect. So rule number one, very, very simple. Thank you so much. Thank you. Rule number one, very, very simple. You have a consonant, simply add an E, no brainer. We've been doing this. Next, masculine adjectives that end with an E accent aigu, which by the way gives us the A sound, will add another E in the end. Okay, guys, it's very true for you to understand that if a word is already ending with an E, okay, I don't end up adding another E in the end and make it like that in French. It's already ending with E. I don't need to add another one. It remains the same. Something like sympathique. Pardon, spelling. Sympathique. It's already ending with an E. I don't need to add another one to make it feminine. Sympathique will be used for masculine as well as feminine. They mean same word, masculine, feminine. So if a word is already ending in it with an E, don't add another one. But that's the difference. If it's ending, however, with an E accent aigu, as you can see here, then in that case, dans ce cas-là, vous allez ajouter un autre E. In that case, you will add another E. That won't bring about any change in my pronunciation, okay? Alors, notez. The first one, sucré. Sucré means something that's sugary, sweet. If I change it to feminine, it would still be sucré, but it's important that we add another E. Now, why have we put this rule here? Because in your TEF or TCF, whichever exam, you have to write, right? You anyway have to end up writing. These errors are actually accounted for and they are penalized. Reason being, these are foundational and basic errors. So your accords are supremely important. So we cannot afford to mess around with them. Okay, they are basics, right? Imagine examiners from an examiner's point of view sitting there and seeing that a student of a B2 level is making errors with something as basic as articles and accords. Not very well taken, right? Not very well received. So please be very wise. I understand il n'y a pas de changement, there's no change in the pronunciation, but definitely a change in the spelling. So sucré, which means sugary or something that's sweet. Okay? So for example, le gâteau est sucré. The cake is sweet. La confiture, which is your jam, is sucré. The jam is sweet. Pronunciation remains the same. We just add another E. Marié, which is married. And marié, again, which means married, on va ajouter un autre E. We're just going to add another E in the end. So, mon frère est marié. My brother is married. Et ma sœur est mariée aussi. My sister is married as well. Cet exercice est compliqué. This exercise is complicated. Why compliqué in masculine? Because exercice is masculine. On the other hand, la situation est compliquée. The situation is complicated with another E in the end. Why? Because la situation here, it is feminine and it's in a singular form. Now, the last one, frisé. Changes to frisé, pronunciation remains the same. We add another E in the end. We're going to see the example. Very basic, very simple example, okay? Nothing too complicated. Il a les cheveux frisés. He has frizzy hair. But elle a une belle coiffure frisée. She has a very nice frizzy haircut. That's frisé with an extra E. Why? Because we're talking about belle coiffure. Make sense? So far, we figured 3 rules. The first one, very, very easy. We just add another E in the end and voila, we're done. We're through. The next one was that whenever it's ending with an E accent, like accent aigu specifically, you add another E in the end, does not change my pronunciation. And I did tell you another rule why we were doing this, that if the word is already ending with an E, please do not add another one. Let it be the same for masculine as well as feminine. Everyone, so far? Bags rule and these two rules that we've done. Clear for everyone? Are there any doubts with respect to the rules, pronunciation, or concept? Everyone, just give me a heads up on the chat. Lovely. Perfect. Thank you, Priya, Padmapriya, Jasminder, Gayatri, Lian. Okay, lovely. Super. I'm glad to see we're all on the same page. I hope I'm not going too fast. Neither am I going too slow. Everyone's catching it. Thank you, Madhu. Thank you so much. Super. Cool. I think we're good to go forward now. If I look at it from the perspective of your TEF or TCF examination, let's just see. Let's just all of us become examiners for a minute. Okay? I'm going to show you two dialogues. The first one is right in front of you. The second one is what I'll show you now. Voila. They're both grammatically correct. Okay? They're both perfect. There's no error in there. I want all of you to read both. Everybody, since you're examiners now, please evaluate it between A1, E2, B1, and B2. Come on. You guys are examiners for the day. Vous allez evaluate. Okay? You are going to evaluate it. Everybody on the chat, please evaluate dialogue 1, what's the level that you're giving? Dialogue 2, what's the level are you giving? And post that, we're going to read it together. So I would love if there are 2 volunteers who can come in. Otherwise, of course, I'm going to read. Okay, vous avez 2 minutes. After you've read, please post your responses. Je vais attendre. We're a big lot of students today. We're 30 in number, guys. Come on, let's do this. Guys, let's try to score it between A1, A2, B1, and B2. Just give your levels. And mind you, they're all grammatically correct, okay? So there are no errors. Don't start finding mistakes there. They're all correct. They're perfectly fine. Just please give them the level. How would you rate it? Niveau A1, A2, B1 ou B2? A2 and B1, B2. Lovely. Okay. Jasmine says A2 and then for the second one, B2. Okay. Super. Fair enough. Taken. All right. Let's see who else. Okay, we have Riya. Riya has scored the first one A2 and the second one between B1 and B2. Okay. All right. We have Rakesh again A1, B2, Rohan A2, C1. Okay. Perfect. Great. Okay. Tefisa also A1 and B2. All right. I'm going to pick somebody at random just to give me any reasoning for why are you evaluating like that. Okay. Anything. You're the examiner. Your interpretation could be anything. Okay. Let's say I pick up Divyang. Okay, Divyang, you've rated the first one at an A2 and the next one at B1, which is perfect. Okay. What is your reason for rating the first one at an A2 and the next one at a B1? Why, as an examiner, have you done that?
Because in the first one, they have used connectors.
Okay.
And
so in the
and
first,
it's a little bit descriptive, and the
Okay.
second one has more like more adjectives.
Okay, so what is setting the second one apart for you is the usage of connectors, super,
Yeah,
the descriptives.
descriptives. Yeah,
Okay.
and adjectives.
Okay, so descriptions, adjectives, lovely. Okay, which is fair. I think that
Yeah.
sounds good. Thank you so much for sharing that. Let's say we pick Padmapriya. Okay, Padmapriya, why have you given the score that you've given? Could have any reason. You can those reasons could also coincide with the ones that we just heard as well.
Because the first one is basic, they didn't use any adjectives. And in the second part, they have used adjectives, more adjectives. So I conclude that the second one is more advanced.
Okay, perfect, which is absolutely a valid reasoning. Let's hear it from you, Lian. What do you think about it? Why have you given the score that you've given today?
I gave A2 for the first one, because like there's some like vocabulary content there. For the second one, I gave B1 and B2 because of same with Tivyang. There are like descriptive adjectives and there are more rich vocabulary like chaleureux, accueillant, and the likes.
Absolutely correct, guys. Now, do you see for yourselves? Thank you, Lian, for sharing that. Do you guys see it? That it obviously it matters that you write whatever you write very accurately in your writing exam. But what matters is how are you presenting it as well. Just the way, despite of being students, you were able to clearly evaluate these two passages between a basic and a more complex one. And you could tell me reasons why you've done that. Connectors, descriptives, adjectives, richer vocabulary. That's the same way an examiner is also evaluating it. So the reasons why you gave something B1 and B2 are the same reasons you have to give to the examiner like yourself to be able to score you in that manner. Do we understand that? So always think of it from the perspective of your examiner. Absolutely. I have somebody in the chat who said that their expressions also used uh, in the second one, which is true, which is very true. So whatever reasons you guys are coming out of, they're perfect. They're very accurate, guys. And that's the same mindset with which the examiner will also evaluate your writing or speaking. So whatever reasons you felt were right enough to evaluate it as a B1, B2, please make sure you're incorporating those things for your own expressions as well. Okay? Connectors, descriptions, varied vocabulary, not repeating it, keeping it longer, complex, simple, a variation. This is what is going to differentiate a simple or a basic writing from a complex one. And it's not too difficult, right? You're just throwing some adjective words here and there and it's done. You fancied it. Okay, so if we read it, anybody who wants to read actually the first one? Okay, Divya, perfect.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Lina, j'ai 29 ans, je suis étudiante, j'habite à Montréal avec mon mari et mon fils. Je viens du Maroc, je parle français et un peu anglais. J'aime lire et écouter de la musique. Je vais apprendre le français pour trouver un travail.
Travail. Perfect. Thank you. Je vais juste corriger quelque chose. I'm just going to correct a few things. But very well done. Bon effort. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Je m'appelle Lina. We know we're talking about a girl. J'ai 29 ans. Instead of 29, it's 29 ans. Perfect. Je suis étudiant. You got that right. J'habite à Montréal. Now, instead of saying j'habite, remember a couple of sessions before I'd mentioned that the only place when you'd say the A in the end, if it's ending with EAQ.
Excellent. Yeah.
Perfect. Absolutely. You recall that well enough. So keep that in mind, okay? So
Yeah.
E accent, which is AQ, AIS, AIT, AIENT, ER, and EZ. Other than that, please do not say A in the end. So j'habite, that's it. So j'habite à Montréal avec mon mari et mon fils, which is perfect till here. I live in Montreal with my husband and my son. Je viens du Maroc. I come from Maroc. Je parle français. Never, not parler again because of the same rule. So je parle français et un peu anglais. Not pou, peu. Why peu? Because the phonetic rule of EU states that we call it a. So je parle français et un peu anglais. J'aime lire et écouter de la musique. I love to read. I like to read and listen to music. Je veux apprendre le français. I want to learn French for finding a job. Okay, good job. Very well done. Thank you so much for reading it out loud for us. Superb. And for those who may have forgotten the rules of phonetics or any of these rules, would have been able to recollect thanks to you today. So thank you. Okay. Do we have any takers for the second one? Okay, perfect, Hanshman.
Yes. So, bonjour, je m'appelle Lina et j'ai 29 ans.
Very nice.
Je suis une étudiante curieuse et motivée. J'habite à Montréal. Une vie dynamique et accueillante. Avec mon mari et mon petit garçon énergique. Je viens du Maroc, un pays chaleur,
Very nice.
chaleur et riche en culture. J'aime lire des romans passionnants, écouter de la musique relaxante
Very
et
nice.
cuisiner de plats traditionnels.
Perfect. Superb. Thank you so much. Do you see that in this tiny passage, the number of descriptive adjectives that are added? Curious, motivé, dynamique, accueillant, petit, énergique, chaleureux, riche, passionnant, relaxant, traditionnel. Even if you decide to use 3 or 4 out of these in your existing writing, guys, or speaking for that matter, you're already pulling up your level. And they're very basic. You just need to add them in whatever you write existingly and try to forcibly add it, actually, for that matter. Okay? But I completely agree with you guys for evaluating it at a B1 or a B2 level because of the amount of vocabulary that's used. Okay? So superb on that. Now, like you said, you've evaluated it differently for the reasons that you mentioned above. Adjective qualificative are a perfect tool for convincing and persuading someone. Okay, why have we mentioned this here? For those of you who are already familiar with the pattern of the TEF examination, you guys would know that la tâche de, the second tâche of the production orale, which is your expression orale, that is to convince a friend. So there it's an informal conversation that you have with an examiner who's acting like your friend. It's a role play and you have to convince them to do an activity, to go out somewhere with you, to do a course, to buy or rent something, to get a house, anything that's mentioned in the advertisement that's presented to you. Correct? So the more descriptive terms you use, the better is your convincing power automatically. Okay? Similarly, if I look at it from the point of view of the TCF examination, your tâche 3 of speaking, which is a monologue, it is not easy to just consistently speak for 4.5 minutes as an extempore. It is tricky in another language. But if you forcibly speak at a certain pace and you start adding these additional terms, bringing about this enforcement when you speak, emphasizing, enunciating, all of that, your level would automatically bump up. So just to bump up your existing level, whatever it may be, please make it a point from today onwards in your writing and your speaking, possibly add a few of them, what you've learned today. Okay, it's a step up. Okay, following which, when I take up a topic, for example, for TEF section B of Benevola, which is basically volunteering, which by the way is the most common section B topic in the last 12 months, in the last 1 year. This has been the maximum and the most reoccurring topic for section B TEF examination. Okay, so obviously a very important topic to cover, but let's take that only as an example today. When you're trying to present your point of view, okay, you try to grab everyone's, the listener's attention, your friend's attention, the examiner, you want to intrigue them. So if you say, franchement, tu devrais y réfléchir sérieusement. Now, Instead of just saying, tu dois réfléchir, you should think about it. It's grammatically correct, there's nothing wrong about it. But the moment you modify it just a tiny little bit, franchement, frankly, you've added an adverb, tu devrais y réfléchir sérieusement, you've basically just got the attention of your examiner. They know the tone that you're setting in the beginning, so it's important. When you add a little bit of emotion and enthusiasm, like I said, the tone of your voice, the intonation, the enthusiasm, the emphasis you're making, c'est une bonne idée. You automatically are leaning forward. You're trying to get your examiner's attention, and that's the same energy with which your examiner will also respond. Let me tell you that. Okay, this is just for the tip, as a tip for your examination day as well, guys. The amount of energy, conviction, and the kind of vibe you present from the start till the end in your speaking examination, that's what you're going to get from the examiner. The examiner who's sitting there is basically evaluating 50 more students like you on the same day over the same topics. So you're not doing anything different, correct? But to get their attention, to intrigue them, the way you emphasize, the way you are, how you smile, how you enunciate, reinforce things, that's what will catch their attention, and that's what's going to set you apart. So don't think of it as an interview, but think of it as in this is your last moment, one and only moment to show off. And all of us, we have a little bit of acting genes in us always. Okay, so it's not going to get telecasted. Just act it out as if it's an audition for you. It's not an interview, it's an audition. Okay, so fake it till you make it, guys. Be expressive, have fun in that moment. Let the examiner be more focused in having that conversation with you where you're all around instead of sitting there and sulking. You're giving a chance for the examiner to find more mistakes. We don't want that, right? Let them have a natural conversation with us, crack a few jokes, let them crack a few jokes. Believe me, that works well. It gets the attention off of the mistakes that you may make and it makes a lot of difference in the amount of confidence that you project as well. Okay, just keep that in mind. Which is why c'est une idée utile, c'est une bonne idée. Try to add all of these words and try to make sure that you don't eat your words up. Okay, if you're using them correctly, try to speak them out loud correctly as well. Highlight the benefits correctly in your TEF examination. Okay, when you're trying to convince your friend and your friends very sus, okay, does not want to get into this discussion, doesn't want to get agreed, doesn't want to move ahead with whatever you're offering, you have to keep coming up with benefits. The best way to do that is to use the same idea but add as many adjectives as possible. So it is an experience humaine, enrichissante, formative. C'est une expérience à tous les niveaux, personnellement, socialement et même professionnellement et professionnellement. The same idea, main idea, you're just elaborating on it by adding a few adjectives. It is the best way to make absolutely full use of one idea that you have. Because it may so happen, right? You have an advertisement, you may not have a lot of ideas to convince your friend in. So at least make use of the one that you have correctly, effectively. How to do that? Main idea, add more adjectives. Make it sound like it's the best thing in the world. And how you do that? You add these adjectives. Humaine, enrichissant, formatif. Et c'est enrichissant à tout niveau, tous les niveaux, personnellement, socialement, même professionnellement. Now you're catching their attention. That's all it takes for section B. Okay? Even if I look at it from the perspective of your writing, compare these two sentences, okay? Je vous écris pour me plaindre du service. Le personnel n'était pas bien. I'm writing to you to complain about the service. The personnel or the person who came was not nice. Okay, done. Versus, je vous écris pour exprimer mon mécontentement concernant le service inacceptable que j'ai reçu. Le personnel était froid, désorganisé, ce qui a rendu l'expérience. Do you guys understand? Do you guys see? Désarmante. All of these words, this is the same way of communicating. But A, you're adding length. B, you're showing, when you read also, right now when you read this, automatically that tone comes in your voice. Correct? So the more words you throw in as a reader, as an examiner, I'll also read it with the same expression. So you have to give expression to your writing, then only will, as examiners, we read it with that expression. So all you got to do is create a bank full of these adjectives, qualificatis for yourself and use it. Use it once, twice, thrice, use it 4-5 times, so much so that it becomes a habit. Once it becomes a habit, you won't realize it's just going to come out naturally for your speaking as well as your writing. And that's done. You've leveled up your writing or speaking already from here then. Okay? Now, understand that we've only done 2 main rules today. We have a few more very, very important rules to go. In fact, some exceptions, some rules that are going to follow in this session number 2 that we do next week. Today, I wanted to keep it more about the bags rule, more about where and how we use it. How is it applied in your TEF and TCF examination? What are the examiners looking for? Okay. In the next session, which is a continuation, which is going to be part 2, that's where we unravel the other rules as well as the exceptions. Okay. So are we all on the same page? Everybody, before the next session that we have, I want all of you guys to try this out. Right, whatever you have written in the past, take that out, rewrite that with what you've learned today, and sit with both of them in front of you as examiners and evaluate it. Even if you're able to evaluate it honestly at a level up, the session was fruitful. Okay? Try that, and I would love to know how it turns out. Okay? Perfect. Thank you so much, guys. I know I took a little bit more time today, but I'm so sorry. I really wanted to make sure that I can convey what I came here for. But you guys have been very nice. Thank you so much for all the participation. Merci. Thank you so much. And I'm going to see you guys for part 2 next week for the live session. Okay? Merci beaucoup pour votre participation. Au revoir.